Welcome back to the He's Wrong, She's Right podcast. I am your beautiful host, Andrew. This is your handsome other host, Nona. And today we're back to talk about random nonsense in the news and pop culture and trending topics and
all the things going on in our personal lives.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All that good stuff. My stomach's growling.
So is mine.
I thought it was a noise outside, but that's definitely my stomach growling. So yeah, Nona, let's jump right into this since this just happened yesterday at time of recording. Groundhog Day. Did you see?
It's always wrong. I just don't even pay attention anymore.
But did you see?
Punxsutawney Phil?
Yeah.
What about it?
He saw a shadow. 6 more weeks of winter.
Yeah.
Are you excited?
And he's always wrong. So.
But are you excited for 6 more weeks of winter?
It's going to be wrong. It's okay.
So they're actually, I put that on there because there's actually weather predictions that our area is going to be warmer. It is going to be colder other places like the Midwest and Northeast and stuff like that. But they're saying, and I'm jinxing it now for you.
Yeah. So just stop right there. Stop talking. Literally a week ago, we had our first
2 weeks ago.
Whatever. Week and a half ago. We had our first shutdown of 3 straight days, not going anywhere because of snow.
I mean,
that hasn't happened here in the Wilmington area since like 89, the year I was born. That was like the last big snow that we had here.
It wasn't even really a big snow though. It just stuck around because they don't have plows and stuff.
Yeah,
we're talking like this much snow around the area, but because they don't have plows, they brined the road and it didn't help.
Yeah, but it like shut everything down for pretty much an entire week. School was closed. It was great having several days off. And then the next week, sunny and 70.
Yep.
Gorgeous.
Yep.
Like how wild is that? Only in Wilmington can we have snow for 1 week and then sunny and 70 the next week.
I've had it where I grew up.
Really?
Yeah. It's just as common for that pattern there. Actually, it's probably more common than because you don't get snow as often here, but you can have like 40 below and then like 50s a week later.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I said this before in an episode that my birthday, the year before I moved here, it was 85 degrees and there was a thunderstorm on Christmas Eve. Yeah. I remember walking outside with Whisper to go walk her and seeing the lightning and being like, what is going on? Why is this happening on Christmas Eve in northern Indiana, southern Michigan?
Meanwhile, the one and only time that he has ever taken me back home, it was like, what, -20?
33 below zero? Yeah.
Burr.
Yep.
No, thank you. The kids want to go back, by the way.
That's uncommon for that early. Usually like November and December up there is like sloppy because it's always 30 to 50. Mm-hmm. So you get like snow, but then it doesn't stick. But then like where the grass is, the ground is frozen under the grass, like that sticks. And then there's just like the muck and water in the road the entire time. And then the next storm comes and then that water's not gone yet. So it turns into ice and freezes and yeah. So one day, maybe this summer or something.
Oh, I meant they want to go back next Christmas break to potentially experience snow again.
There's no guarantee though that you'll get snow for Christmas. That's right. It'll be cold.
So that was their request 2 years ago was for Christmas that year, they wanted to experience snow for the first time, like a real snow, and they certainly did. It was a full winter blizzard. Yep. As soon as we pulled into town. Yep. It was wild and cold, and I don't know that I ever want to deal with that again.
Yep.
So anyways, I did have a question.
Okay.
So how do you feel about allowances for children in general? Did you have an allowance as a child?
For doing
weekly or monthly?
Weekly.
And how much money were you given?
I honestly don't remember. We're talking like maybe $5 to $20 max, right? Depending on the age. Mm-hmm.
And what were your duties?
Mowing the lawn, weed eating.
This was, say, 12 years old plus?
No, starting way earlier than that.
You were expected to mow the lawn at 7 years old?
As soon as I could touch the pedals on the tractor.
Oh, I was thinking a push mower.
We push mowed the front and side yard. That's like when you're facing the house, the front and then the left.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the right, next to that, the second or third garage bump out that my dad put, there's like a little space there before the gate.
Mm-hmm.
That was all push mowed. And then the whole backyard was tractor. Because
Isn't it mostly a pool back there?
No. What?
Again, we were there one time and it was blanketed in snow. So
No. What you saw, that's all concrete. There's
Okay.
more yard behind that whole privacy fence.
Oh, how would I know that? I come up from the world of where the fence is. That's where the property line ends.
No, there's a fence behind the fence.
Okay. In what world would I know that as an outsider and going to your house,
I don't know,
at your childhood home at one point in my entire life?
I thought you had looked at it like on the map or whatever.
No, I'm not a fucking stalker like you. Okay, so it doesn't matter.
No,
seriously, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter.
Doesn't
The
matter.
question is about allowances, Andrew, not about the childhood home that you grew up in. The question is about allowances.
Okay.
So my question is, should I implement allowances for the children?
We had already kind of talked about
because
something.
I have high expectations for them as children in general. They do their own laundry, they clean their own bathroom, and they're expected to help out around the house, whether it's helping unload the dishwasher, taking out the trash, things like that. Those are the common expectations of the children helping out in the household as a whole. So I posed the question to each of the children over the last couple of days individually, and only Chloe out of all 4 children said, yes, allowance.
But you know why?
Whereas Cooper said, I don't care either way. It would just go directly into my savings account. I would never touch it. And Cash and Charlotte, it was kind of a foreign concept that went over their head. And they both kind of, I don't know, was their response of just, I don't even know what an allowance is.
So,
whereas Chloe, yes, give me money. I will work for money.
What goes to their head is that if they say no, that means they don't have to do chores. They're not looking at it
No. That's not true at all. I gave the full and complete picture. And I said, if I were to implement an allowance and they put up a fight about anything, stopped helping out, stopped doing their things, did not do what they were supposed to do, then it would be retracted. They understood everything. It was a full and complete picture. And still the little two, it was a foreign concept and they just weren't comprehending what an allowance really was. Cooper didn't care. And Chloe was the only one who said, yes, money would be a motivator.
Except other than her room, she tends to do what she's supposed to do when she's supposed to do it.
This is true.
There you go.
Yes, I already saw. Again, it doesn't matter. Your childhood home is not part of the question. I'm asking about allowances.
Right.
So I did not have an allowance growing up. I was expected to do everything that I just listed that my children are expected to do. And I didn't earn any money for doing it. I didn't start earning money until I was babysitting for other people in the neighborhood or whatever the case may be. And then obviously getting jobs. Cooper's of the age where he will be able to get his first job this summer when he turns 15. I don't know if he will or not, because obviously his workload is extremely strenuous with
The people that would hire a 15-year-old know that they're going to go back to school. They know that they are basically a seasonal worker.
Well, he turns 15
only.
in the middle of the summer. So already
He's
having
like 6 weeks, 8 weeks.
Right, exactly. So at that point, would they even hire him?
I'm sure they would. They're always looking for children like that they can exploit for a short period of time. Because they're going to get a wave of the ones that apply in like May and June, and half of those are going to be quit. They're going to quit or fire or not show up, and they're going to be looking for fresh blood by July.
Right.
And then they'll ask him, probably in the interview and potentially over time,
right?
Hey, can you do some hours on the weekends every, whatever?
Right, which he is interested in doing.
Right, but I think that in the interview, he'll probably tell them no, because you've already told him that during the school year, he doesn't have to work. So that might be why they don't hire him. His appearance of unwillingness to work after the summer. That would be, if I was hiring and I wasn't desperate, that would be the reason why I would tell him no.
Gotcha.
Because now, not only can I not look forward to you potentially even making it through the summer, but now I also have to find somebody else after you leave in a couple weeks. That's more of like an internship stint rather than like a job. So, but we'll see.
So do you think that I should implement allowances for the children?
Around here, unless you're going to increase their chores and they have to reliably do them at whatever intervals, I don't even know that it's worth it, because what all are they doing here? Vacuuming, making their beds. I mean, there's not a whole lot for them to do.
Well, I just listed off.
No, but I'm saying like there's nothing, like there's no lawn to mow. There's no hedges to trim. I mean, there is, but the HOA here covers it. We don't do that. But if we were somewhere where there was more, like washing our cars once a week and pulling weeds and mowing the lawn and edging and doing weed eating and also doing stuff inside the house and monthly, a garage clean out and whatever else, then sure. But right now, everything that they would potentially do takes them less than 30 minutes, and that's once a week roughly. So no, I don't think. I think if Chloe wants to do more, like be more involved daily, like helping with prepping lunches, and I'm throwing out hypotheticals, so don't say no, not that. I'm just saying, like, if you increase what she is doing with 2 or 3 additional things daily or whatever, then sure. But I don't know what that dollar amount would be.
I'm very torn on it. And it would be a monetary amount of what they are currently doing.
But we had also
something minor, like $5 a week.
We had also talked previously about the phone situation where they had to earn the equivalent to their phone bill each month to be able to pay it. And then we dropped or forgot or whatever.
No, you said that offhand. I was not on board with that.
Why?
They
have to be able to learn how to pay their phone bills and their bills eventually with great learning.
And how would they go about earning that money?
Chores and allowance. And
right. And so none of it made any sense to me, because
there's ways for them to earn it, because that teaches them the responsibility. If they can't pay their bill, of course, we're still going to pay it because we have to. But if they don't pay their bill, their phone is shut off until they pay their bill.
Yeah, none of that made any sense to me.
It makes perfect sense to me. My phones that I had to actually pay for.
Yes, me too.
So why
but
don't
I didn't have a phone until after I had a job.
I had a phone in high school.
I had a phone in high school too, because I had a job. I had multiple jobs.
Yeah, so did I.
Right. So I can't equate paying a phone bill from not having a job to when we were in high school and had our own phone and had jobs.
Phone bills haven't really gone up, fortunately.
Okay.
But, I mean, the cost of a phone has gone up big time. But like a phone bill itself, when we were in high school, $40 to $60 a month was ridiculous, because that was probably most of what we were making in a week while we were in school. Like you were probably making
my phone bill was more than that. I had to have my own plan. It wasn't attached to like my parents' plan or anything.
Right. So this is even better for them.
It was like $120 a month.
Mine was never that high.
Mine was like crazy high, and I had it all on my own. I had to pay for it by myself, my own phone. It was like 25 cents a text, something crazy like that too.
So we had a carrier called Centennial, which I believe was bought by AT&T. This was like back in the day when there were a lot of cell phone companies and none of them were good.
Yeah, mine was through something like with Suncoast, SunTrust.
Probably Sun, I think Suncoast. That sounds right. But anyways.
And it was also bought out by AT&T. But anyways, we're digressing here. But no, I was never on board with that.
I haven't digressed.
So I have a follow-up question.
Okay.
How do you feel about children with Apple Pay on their phones that are tied to their parents' account or something synonymous to Apple Pay, Google Pay, whatever, that tap, that lack of, it's just coming out of my parents' account. It's not my money.
No, that's not how that works. It's like those kid debit cards that you can get.
No, that is 100% how it works.
That's not, well, maybe Apple Pay is that way, but the rest of them are not like that. Google Pay is not like that.
Yeah.
Square
So for example,
whatever.
If the kids had Apple phones and I set up Apple Pay on their phone, it would be coming out of my account each time they did that. I don't even have Apple Pay on my own phone.
So that's not how it works on all the others.
Because
on all the others, you put an amount, like you literally are transferring an amount of money into their account and that's all they can spend. If I give them $20 and they tap for $50, it's not working.
Okay. Yeah, no. I don't know how that works because I've never personally used it, but I think that children these days have a complete disregard as to how much money is actually being spent and can like easily spend, say, $50 on lunch because it's coming out of their parents' account.
I had to balance a checkbook when I was a kid. Anytime I wanted to spend money, even if I went to the bank and withdrew money or went to the ATM or whatever, I had my little checkbook ledger thing and I had to write my...
So I didn't have all that, but I kept everything in cash. So if I didn't have the cash, then I couldn't get it.
So I had...
And my parents didn't give me any money. So if I didn't make the money myself...
I
couldn't do anything.
I had two separate bank accounts. I had a bank account that I had access to. And then I had the account that my parents had set up that had like the money that I earned when I did the growing up, half my money goes in the bank or whatever. Right. So I had to actively maintain if I wrote a check or because this is before, kids could really have debit cards.
When was the last time you wrote a check?
In the Army.
Okay. A long time ago.
Do you count cashier's checks, stuff like that? Because technically,
I don't think I've ever even done a cashier's check.
I had to do it for the thing on my house, the escrow or whatever.
Down payment?
No.
Oh, I don't know.
The earnest money.
Ah, gotcha.
Because they can't take a personal check because it can bounce, but a cashier's check, it's guaranteed money. Right. It's effectively cash. Just yeah. The Army. Maybe a car purchase after the Army. Like sold a car, had the money in the bank.
The last time I wrote a check was my very last preschool tuition check. That was the only thing I was using checks for. And it was literally my last check in my checkbook too. I was like, fuck yeah. I lined up perfect.
I feel like there might have been some other reasons because I had a checkbook at the other house and I feel like I used them all, but I don't remember what it was for. I think it might have been work related, but I don't know why that would be because I wasn't paying. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Who knows? Anyways, so that's kind of where this all stemmed from. I started thinking about Apple Pay, children and their lack of regard as to how much they were spending. Chloe telling me about how much Trey had spent the month of December on Chick-fil-A alone, over $900 at Chick-fil-A alone.
Yeah.
And And it was obviously, it was with his parents' assistance. So it wasn't even like he was going to Chick-fil-A on his own because he can't drive yet. He's Chloe's age, who is 12. And parents sliding their card or Apple Pay or however the case may be, but then finally totaling it up and going, oh my God. And it's that foreign concept of keeping track. And so that's where my head started spinning of maybe I should implement, giving them $5 a week for what they're already doing, and then giving certain bonuses for like if they wanted to clean the couch or, something extra on top of what is normally considered their weekly chore. And like how I did one time with Chloe cleaning the loft and carpet cleaning. I paid her $20 to carpet clean her room, Cooper's room, and the loft area.
I don't think it's gonna work, and the reason is because they've already become accustomed to getting more money than what an allowance would be worth for doing similar tasks.
How so?
Like times when we've been like, do this and I'll buy you that toy or whatever that was like $50 on Amazon, and like they're gonna think back to that and they're like, well, I did this before and you bought me a $50 Lego, but now I'm doing it only getting 10. So on that aspect, they're going to be smart about it, but the spending side is where they are going to have the problem. And yeah, the virtual money thing is a problem. They need to either...
Just to be clear, our kids do not have Apple Pay. No. They don't have access to any of our credit cards or any of the case. It was more of a hypothetical and thinking about other people's children and that lack of regard. And I was trying to figure out how to ensure that moving forward, they don't become like that.
So I'm going to move on because we got to close out the episode already in about 10 minutes.
Okay.
So, have you seen this, the thing about the guy that was thrift shopping and found the Chinese plate at Goodwill near Chicago?
No idea what you're talking about.
So this guy, have you ever seen those shows where they go they buy like the storage units and stuff?
Yes. Yes.
So apparently this
Storage Wars, is that what it's called?
There's probably a million of them at this point. Okay. Because, once one channel starts one, then everybody's like, oh, I'm going to jump on the trend and make my own version.
Yeah. So they auction it off because people are delinquent on...
Yeah. And they'll find something or whatever. So this guy did that and also went antiquing a lot, and he would find things and sell them or refurbish them or whatever.
So a Chinese plate, you said?
Yeah. He got sick. They didn't say what, or injury, illness, whatever. And they said he had to reduce his travel, so he started going to thrift stores and finding stuff there. So he went into a Goodwill and he found this plate.
Okay.
And how many items do you have to go through at a Goodwill to identify the one thing that's valuable? How much time are you really spending at Goodwill and Salvation Army and wherever else to find something that you can actually resell? That's, for me, that doesn't seem like it's any amount of time that's meaningful. Anyways, he buys this plate for $4.99, right? He goes and looks it up, does the research. It's worth $5,000
for a plate,
a porcelain plate
that you eat off of.
Yes.
Why is it worth $5,000?
It's from the 18th century, some Chinese military thing.
And there was only one of them. It wasn't a set.
The picture only showed one, and what I read only talked about one. So whether or not.
And that's pretty amazing that it wasn't chipped or damaged in any way. Yeah. From the 18th century?
Yeah. Can you imagine?
Can you imagine eating off of that and then finding out after you ate off of it that it was worth $5,000?
My dad, and I'm sure a lot of people have done this before, my dad scored a really nice grill years ago from Goodwill. Did I tell you this?
Yes, you did.
Have we talked about it on here?
I think so.
Okay. Anyways, so the guy's wife took all of his stuff and donated it. And then my dad happened to be there one day looking for something and saw this grill, and he offered for it or whatever. And they said, okay, they held it for him. I think he had paid for it, left, went to get his other car, went back and picked it up. By the time he went back, the guy was there trying to get it back. He's like, my soon-to-be ex-wife brought it in. I want it back. And my dad's like, sorry, it's mine now. I mean, he paid a tenth of what it would cost brand new, and it was basically brand new. Mm-hmm. It was a really, really, really nice grill. So like stuff like that's not super uncommon, but it makes you wonder why they don't invest the time like looking into the actual value. Because if they could turn around and sell that online or auction or something, if it's supposed to be for like, because isn't Goodwill supposed to be for like women's shelters and stuff like that? Isn't I know like ours, some of the money goes to like battered women's shelters. So why don't you invest in having somebody at least once in a while look into the items that you guys are taking in? I can't imagine it takes a whole lot of time because you can, on my phone, I can use Google Lens, and does it pop up as like a ridiculously priced item, or is it like what it is? Is it just a plate? Right? Like,
I don't know. People have like make plenty of money thrifting and reselling.
yeah, but I'm saying if Goodwill
Right. No, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
So all those people would then
lose out.
yeah. So I don't know.
Well, which would you rather benefit, them or the charity?
I mean, there's speculation as to how much money actually goes back to the charity, though. That's why I long pause looked at you.
Well, I don't know if it's speculation, but it's better than zero. So, like,
It pretty much is pocketed by the CEO. So
no, the CEOs don't really make that much money. People that talk about, oh, CEO made $1 million. Okay, the business isn't going to operate well without that person. So you can pay them $1 million, or you can pay them nothing, and your business will die. I mean, it's a necessary evil. And in the grand scheme of things, their salary is not that much money. Like in comparison to what they actually bring in, it's not that much money. Have you seen trailers for The Menu?
I have no idea what that is. What is the menu?
Apparently it's a horror comedy and it's on Netflix and it's supposedly like the best ever.
A horror comedy?
Yeah.
Well, I don't like horror. I do like comedy. But because it's got horror in it, then I can't watch it.
It looked like it was supposed to be kind of like a murder mystery kind of thing. I don't know. I didn't.
So like The Glass Onion is...
Maybe. I didn't fully read into it because then the very next thing that caught my eye was You're Cordially Invited, which weren't we talking about Reese Witherspoon recently about how she hasn't really been anything in a while? We watched something with her in it.
Okay.
What did we watch?
The movie with her and Ashton Kutcher.
What was that?
Where they were like friends and...
Oh, he was rich, right?
Sure, yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
The like condo thing or whatever?
Yeah, but she's produced several movies.
Oh, well, and they made a big deal.
The Sunshine something is her business.
They made a big deal about how this is like, oh, the two rom-com
It's
geniuses.
Will Ferrell
Yeah.
is the other guy who's in that movie.
Yeah.
I heard it sucked.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, we can watch it, but I heard it sucked.
I don't know what it's on. I just dropped my pen.
It's on Netflix. It's a Netflix
So both of them
original movie.
So is the Menu.
Okay. I'll watch the Reese Witherspoon and Will Ferrell movie with you.
Okay.
But no thanks on the horror.
Okay. How do you feel about vegan KitKats?
Well, KitKats sound disgusting in general, and vegan KitKats.
Have you ever had a KitKat?
Yeah, I've had a KitKat.
You don't like them? Oh.
I don't like milk chocolate, so anything with milk chocolate is
They
gross
make
to
dark
me.
chocolate versions.
I haven't seen it. He bought recycled KitKats, and before Cash even opened it, I was like, I bet it's pre-chewed. And then he opened it, and it literally was like multicolored chocolate. And I was like, yeah, it looks like somebody pre-chewed it, then spit it back out into the mold.
It was the packaging that was recycled.
And so now every time, I think there's like 3 left in the container. Now every time they get pulled out, they call them pre-chewed KitKats instead of recycled KitKats.
Yeah. So those completely different. Those came from World Market. Cooper picked those out for Christmas. But apparently there's vegan KitKats and they're super popular in the UK.
Okay.
And they're being pulled from the shelves. So people are like panic buying them, and the black market prices of them are like insane. You can go and sell vegan KitKats on like eBay for like $20 for the little.
Speaking of selling on eBay, did you see all the people selling their iPhones who had TikTok downloaded on it for like 10 grand?
That wouldn't matter anyways. You have to wipe the phone because it has that wouldn't work. If people buy that, you deserve to be taken advantage of.
They have bought it.
You deserve to be taken advantage of because you can put it on any device. It does not take that long. It's called side loading. And actually now it's required in the UK for Apple to allow side loading of apps.
Side loading?
It's using another something other than your app store to install an app. Like I can go and download anything on my phone and it doesn't have to come from Google Play. It's always been like that.
Okay.
But so I download what's called an APK file. But for you, I think they're called DMG files.
Who knows?
So all you have to do, if you really want to get into the weeds, you just jailbreak the phone.
Or we could make lots of money by selling iPhones with TikTok downloaded on them.
Sure.
So I just figured out our get rich quick scheme.
Yeah. I could totally do it. We would have to make a bunch of burner accounts, but
yeah, I told you about this like 2 weeks ago. You really didn't listen to me at all when I said this?
I don't remember. Oh my gosh. But I could go and put it on both of our phones right now and it wouldn't take me any time.
Okay.
So vegan KitKats, making money, get rich quick schemes. Got talking about, I have on my list Musk Treasury, but I'm going to skip that since we're getting close on time. Actually, we're about at time. So with that being said, let's talk Super Bowl predictions.
Kansas City Chiefs for me, Eagles for you.
You really think they're going to win? Like you don't have any shred of doubt. You just start picking them because of
I'm just
Travis
picking.
Kelce?
I'm literally just picking them because they've already won 2 years in a row. So I'm just going with them. The Eagles haven't won in quite a while, right?
I actually don't know the last time they won, but the last time they played Kansas City in Super Bowl was 2 years ago. They lost to Kansas City 2 years ago.
Right. So I'm just going off of history. I don't care about football. I'm just whatever.
So here's what I think.
You think the Eagles.
And not just because I don't want to see Kansas City win for a third time in a row.
Okay.
I genuinely think with the plane crash, because that becomes that people shoulder that and they're going to, when they give like their speech, they're going to say, this is for the victims, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
And so people tend to like play for something.
Okay.
And I think that is going to be something that the team is going to say.
Where are they playing at?
I actually don't know where the Super Bowl is this year.
It's usually somewhere warm, right?
No. If it's in the north, it's in an indoor stadium.
Gotcha.
Where's the Super Bowl this year?
Super Bowl 59 will take place on Sunday at 6:30 p.m. at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana.
So, it's like it's been in Detroit. It's been in Indianapolis. It won't be in Chicago because Chicago's outdoor. Won't be in Buffalo because Buffalo's outdoor.
Well, since you brought up the plane, do you want to talk about how crazy it is that we've had back-to-back?
There's been another one. Yeah.
I mean, I know bad things happen in threes, but this is way more than three.
Before we went to Puerto Rico, there were a bunch. And I didn't tell you about them until we got to Puerto Rico. And then I was like, oh, yeah, there were a bunch. Because there was the Korean one that slammed into the berm at the end of the runway. I can't remember. There were three of them, back to back to back. They were really close together. And I was like not nervous, but I had this feeling that I was like, we're going to be, on these, because we were on like the smaller planes, the puddle jumpers.
Okay.
I was like, we're going to be.
I wasn't nervous at all.
Because you didn't know about it. But I was saying I wasn't nervous. I just had this weird feeling that we weren't going to be the ones in the crash, but we were going to be on the plane and be grounded and stuck inside the plane because a bigger plane crashed. That was my nightmare, was knowing that I was going to be locked in a plane that, for one, was cramped, but for two, I couldn't even stand up in because I would have to go like this. So I'm stuck sitting in this cramped seat for hours and hours on end. I think it was in India or something like that. There was a plane that was grounded. And because once you board the plane, you cannot deplane and then reboard. Mm-hmm. So they backed away from the gate and then they were grounded for some reason and the AC on the plane didn't work. So people were just in there baking and farting and Yeah, that was the complaint. They were like they were really eloquent with how they said it, like the rectal aromas or
rectal aromas. All right, we know the podcast episode name.
Rectal aromas.
Welcome to He's Wrong, She's Right.
Yep.
And all your rectal aromas.
Yep. Yeah. And for those of you that made it to the end of the episode, which is all of like 3%, make sure you are subscribed on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Well, wherever you are, we would appreciate your subscription everywhere. You can literally go and click on the links and subscribe everywhere. That'd be awesome. If we earned it. I think we earned it. I think we're really good. We're great people. But 4,000 subscriber giveaways going on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe there. All you have to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment on any video or all the videos. Watch them all, check them all out, leave a comment. Let us know what you love. Let us know what you hate. Follow us on social media. We are doing a live show next weekend. If you're in North Carolina or South Carolina and want to come, it's in Southport, North Carolina at the Royal James Rummery. Right?
See you guys there.
Yeah. The 15th. Details are also on our social media posts on YouTube and stuff as well.
So the day after Valentine's, are we talking all about relationships?
That depends on who shows up. Because, I mean, the majority of the people that we invited are couples. So, yeah, we'll see.
Get down with the nitty gritty.
Yeah. Once everybody's got a little bit of rum in them, they start talking about what they hate about each other.
Oh.
Good content. God. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Yeah, thank you for watching. And let us know if you like us going back to the 3-camera format, how we edit and watch. I throw that in there and then I don't do it. I'm just
He's not going to do it. That's too much work for him.
No, I'm going to do it. I'm going to invest into adding more professionalism to our show. So
professionalism.
I am professionalism.
Professional.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Good job.
Bye.
Goodbye.